Hey guys, well, this is the second session in our What Happens When You Give video series of short videos explaining the importance of giving and why we teach about giving in the life of the church. And in this session, I want to talk about the topic of why does the church need our money? Now, I wanted to address this very early in the series because it's a question that I think a lot of people have, and some people probably are afraid to even ask that question. And I'm aware that when people say that, why does the church need money? There's a whole lot of reasons behind that might be affecting you asking that question. You may have had experience in the past with a church leader who has betrayed trust with regard to money, or you may have seen televangelists and so on who seem to be living the high life and flying planes and whatever, and you think, well, how can we be sure that the money that we're using that we're giving is being used correctly? And that's a valid question, and I want to take time to address that and be transparent about that. Now, the other reason you may be asking that question is you just may be fairly new to church life, fairly new to the faith, and all you've perhaps heard is this mentality or this belief in the past that, oh, the church just wants your money. And so I want to take a moment just to answer that question for you. And quite simply, the simplest reason that we would say the church needs money is because the church needs money in order to function and fulfill its mission on the earth. You know, we have a mandate to bring the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ to the world, and God has chosen to use his church to do that. We are the answer to the world, and in a world where finance and resource is how the world works, we need to have resources in order to do that, to have buildings and salaries and administration costs and advertising costs and utilities costs and all that. And so simply, we live in a world where money is necessary, and just like it is in order for your family to live, money is necessary in order for the church family to live as well. So that may be reasonably obvious, but what may be less obvious is the fact that we are the church, and therefore the church doesn't exist apart from the members of the church, which is to say that we are the ones who resource the work of the kingdom. All of us together as members of the church are required to resource God's work. The money doesn't come from some external supply outside of us as individuals who make up the church, and that's why the church needs us and our money, because the church can't fulfill its mission. We can't fulfill our mission without the funds to do so. We live in a consumer mindset world where the media and the world is constantly sending a message to us that you can have what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, without really any personal sacrifice. We go to the latest new shopping center and we look around and we think, wow, this has all been set up for us. But we don't even think about the fact that we are the consumers are the ones who are actually paying for that, because they don't want us thinking about that. They want us to go and spend more money there. And so we in the church are different. On the other hand, we are very upfront about the fact that the church needs to have contributors, that we need to be producers and not consumers in the kingdom of God, that every one of us has a part to play in that. So the problem with the consumer mindset is it leads us to a sense of entitlement, as though the world owes us something, as though we can demand happiness, that others have a responsibility to make us happy. But it's actually not the way the world works, and it's certainly not the way the kingdom of God works. Yes, we have received God's grace and salvation as a free gift, but once we've received and grasped the depth of what God has done for us, it should compel us to want to contribute to God's work so that others can receive that message. And so the original message of salvation is by grace is free, but then there's a cost that comes with us to become a producer in the kingdom of God. And so our challenge is to help us all move from being consumeristic in our mindset to being producers in our mindset. And a big part of that is our giving. So I want to challenge you, what are you doing with regards to financial giving? Are you making sacrifices, and are you moving more and more towards a lifestyle of tithing of 10% or beyond, so that the kingdom of God and the church can fulfill its mandate of reaching as many people in this region, in the city, in the nation, and in the nations of the world? It all comes back to us, guys. What are we going to do? How are we going to contribute to God's work? So God bless you as you contemplate that, and God bless you as you are givers and contributors to God's house.